Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new to this channel, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and if you have not yet turned on your post notification bell, please remember to do so you won't be missing any of our videos whenever we upload. Now guys, I have decided to do a topic that causes death, and most persons before they become disabled because of this condition. Now many persons may think or feel that only persons of certain age group this condition happens to. They tend to believe that it can't happen to the young, but I think we all know or realizing that certain conditions, no matter what age group you are, it can happen to you. So tonight we'll be talking about stroke, right? Yes. So when we think of stroke, what really comes to mind? Now for me, what really comes to mind is like a strike or a sudden hit, right? So now what happens to cause a stroke? Now a stroke happens when blood flow from the brain is cut off, right? So the blood flow to the brain is cut off. Yes, so like all other parts of the body needs oxygen, so does the brain. Yeah, so when blood flow or oxygen can't get to the brain, it damages the blood cells. And then when the blood cells are being damaged, or the oxygen is no longer being sent to them, then the symptoms that follow is called a stroke, right? All right, good. So the brain, we all know the brain controls the entire body. It controls the whole body. It tells other organs what to do, when to do, etc. So we're going back to biology class. All right, so yeah, the brain controls the entire body, and the symptoms of a stroke. The symptoms of a stroke can be ranging depending on which part of the brain is affected, right? So there are different parts of the brain, and depending on which part of the brain is affected, then you have the symptoms occurring. Now, what are these symptoms? No, these symptoms are, as we said before, depending on which part of the brain, because we know we have different sections of the brain. So now, depending on which part of the brain is damaged when a stroke occurs, then we have different types of symptoms. Now, these symptoms include like drooling of the face, like one part of the face is being dropped or lean. Then you have weakness in the arms or legs. So sometimes after a stroke, we might see some persons are unable to use their hands, or they're unable to walk, right? Another symptoms is difficulty speaking. Now during a stroke, depending on which area of the brain is affected, as I said before, an individual will lose his or her speech. Now other symptoms can occur, such as loss of balance, confusion, and memory loss. So these are other symptoms that can occur. Now these effects, which are the last few symptoms that I spoke about. Sometimes they might be barely noticeable, but they can be more severe, there can be more severe and disabling. So after a stroke, some persons might be disabled. Now, the great news is sometimes the changes can be reversed if treatment is started early, right? So if we pick up that a stroke is occurring quickly, then these symptoms can be reversed, right? And this is why it is essential to act quickly if you suspect that a person is getting a stroke. Now, there are two types of stroke, right? So strokes are put into two groups depending on the blood vessels supplying the brain. So depending on what happens to that specific blood vessel that is supplying blood or oxygen to the brain, then we can state what type of stroke occur. So there can be a blockage, which is known as the ischemic stroke, or bleeding, which is known as the hemorrhagic stroke, right? Now, the treatment. Now, each stroke treatment is different. So whether it is caused by a blockage or bleeding, it is good that the type of stroke is being pointed out as soon as possible so that treatment can take place, because the types of strokes has different treatment. So most times persons will refer to a stroke as a brain attack, right? So most persons refer to a stroke as a brain attack, so it attacks the brain directly. Yeah. Now, blockage stroke is most common and is caused by a buildup of fatty material in the blood vessel, which may lead to blood clot, which blocks the blood supply, just like in a heart attack. So this is what really happens in a blockage stroke. So a clot is formed and oxygen supply or blood supply is unable to reach the brain. Okay, I hope you guys are understanding and following so far, because this is a very important topic, and it is really good to be able to identify when a stroke is taking place, or a person is experiencing a stroke, or a person is getting a stroke, right? So earlier on, we said that it is very essential and it is very important to respond quickly if we see that a person is getting a stroke. So it is very good to be aware and be prepared. Now, how to respond quickly in the event of a stroke? Straight up hand, we got to be fast. We got to react fast. Now, we have the acronym Be Fast, and we'll be talking about them. Now, the B stands for balance. So we can look if the person is suddenly off balance, right? Are they able to stand? You understand? Next, eyes. So are they seeing double or only out of one eye? So are they seeing out of both eyes, or they can see out of one? Next thing is face. Now we're going to fast. Face is one side of the person's face dropping drooping. So as he spoke about, the face might look a bit lean. Some persons might say the mouth gets lean, or it seems displaced. Next, arms, which is A. Does the arm look limp? It drop, right? If you see that occurring, or that is not really visible, you can ask them to raise their hands, or ask them to raise both hands to see if there's any limp or so. Next, speech. We spoke about this. During a stroke, a person might lose his or her speech. So we might ask, is there words slurring, or if that is not really visible, then we might ask them to say their name. Now, if all these symptoms that we spoke about, like the face being dropped, they're unable to speak, they lose their balance, their arms is limp, and they're unable to raise their hands or feet or so, then it's time to get to a doctor. It's time to call emergency numbers, right? So once this happens, it's time to move. All right. The next thing is the causes, because we know for every sickness, for every illness, for every condition, there is a cause, right? Some causes of a stroke it has to do with ethnicity. So it has to do with age, gender, your family history. What if you have several persons in your family that has gotten a stroke? Then it is said that you are prone to get a stroke. Also, or hypertension, right? So if blood pressure is not under control, you might have a stroke. Also, diabetes can cause strokes. So you got to ensure that these your blood sugar level is under control if you have diabetes. Also, your cholesterol levels, because as we spoke about, fatty acids, fatty fluids and stuff can cause a stroke. It causes blockage. So it is not good if your cholesterol level is always high. Also, smoking. Some persons tend to smoke a lot, and we know smoking causes other illnesses, but it also causes stroke. It also causes a person to get a stroke. Also, drinking a lot, right? Drinking a lot can also lead to stroke. Also, inadequate exercise. So these days, most persons, they don't exercise a lot, but I think I can say I've seen many persons walking in the morning. Since the whole COVID stuff, I see persons walking, I see them running. So yeah, that helps. So yeah, it's good to be physically active, right? Another cause of stroke is certain medications. So certain medication can raise your chance of getting a stroke. So causes, again, high blood pressure, diabetes, inadequate physical activity, your ethnicity, and also stress. Guys, we know stress can lead to so many things. So stress can also cause you to get a stroke, right? So I mean, guys, not going to say you're not going to consider or worry about certain things, but you're not going to make it reach to that extent that you're going to get yourself sick. even though when we might be considering or worrying about certain things, we might not know that it is causing harm to our body. So stress can cause us to get a stroke, guys. So we're going to throw away that habit of stressing and worrying about things and putting it up here that can cause harm to the brain, right? All right, now, so next, how to prevent a stroke, or what can we do to prevent a stroke? All right, so since we know the causes, we can prevent it, right? All right, so we are going to ensure that we always check our blood pressure. So if we are hypertensive, we're not gonna just low it up like that and say, okay, doctor said whatever, I may have little pressure or whatever. There's no such thing as little pressure, right? So yeah, we're going to take up our blood pressure in hand. We're going to check it regularly to see what the reading is like. Also, same thing with our diabetes and our cholesterol levels. We're going to check on that as well. And we are going to eat healthy, right? We're going to eat healthy. We're going to eat our vegetables, our fruits, drink our water, try to cut off our sodas and acidic beverages, right? So we're going to try and eat healthy because it's not easy, but we have to try, and moderation is key, right? So while we speak about moderation is key, we're going to drink our alcohol in moderation. So a little wine now and again, if we're at home or if we are out with our friends, we can have 1 or 2 drinks, but we're not going to do it in excess to the point where we'll harm ourselves and get sick and get a stroke, right? And also we're going to the whole eating healthy. Yes, we're going to cut off our salty and our fatty foods in our diet. So yes, guys, there are certain things that we can do to prevent ourselves from getting a stroke, and yeah, moderation is key. Whatever we do, we got to do it in moderation, because at the end of the day, we don't want certain stuff to happen to us, because most persons get a stroke, guys, and they don't recover. But as we said earlier on in the video, if we attack the symptoms quickly, if we just be fast, the acronym be fast, then yeah, they can be reversed or it can be treated. While some, they never recover. It's either they die or they become disabled. They're unable to speak, they're unable to walk, right? So yeah, some persons loses their sight after a stroke. So we just gotta do what we have to do. So remember, it doesn't matter if you are young, it doesn't matter if you are old, we can all get a stroke. So that's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. So until next time, bye.